And I knew the difference because my MSc supervisor was different. He was technically very sound, very thorough and very systematic, but he wouldn't have done all this, So
I think that's wonderful. And your father, basically, the kind of role he played was much more when you came back and started implementing this idea. Would that be right statement?
I think even with, when I started working on my PhD with him, we were always working on it together. He was very involved, and there were parts that he did and parts that I did. And this has been maybe it just came in naturally because ever since we were children, he would put in an extra effort, school projects and
very good.
And we used to have everybody used to sit on the dining table and study, and he would teach us whatever.
Brilliant.
And my mother used to teach us as well.
Oh, very nice.
So.
Yeah, well, I must meet your father then in
Yes.
that case. Okay, I'm just really trying to sum up. So you did face challenges as well on the
Yes.
way. So if someone were to ask you, what were the 3 or 4 main challenges that you faced?
Okay, I think once you become a mother, that is when you learn to value time. Because anything that I could do in 10 minutes without a child, it takes 1 hour.
Yeah, that's true.
And then obviously working with a child at home, and even if not at home, even if I were to bring her along, dressing up the child, packing the food, there's so much around it. At times I used to go to live with my parents for a longer period of time, and I had to move with toys, books, laptop, regular luggage, but toys, baby stuff, and so there's a lot of. So I think that's what I advise all women. I say make the most of your time before you have your children, because then
That was my next question. What advice would you give to others? So you've already answered part of it.
Yes.
So that was one, yes, indeed. And any other that you could think of? Any major issues, major challenges that you would sum up?
Yes, I think, obviously working long distance, like doing a PhD in England and being here. And then, when my husband was here and I was moving back and forth, and then living there alone with a child. So all this, it's not a very settled life. So, and even, dealing with issues as a single parent.
Yeah.
And then, dealing with the stereotype definitions of a good wife, and sometimes you don't fit into those definitions, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
and what about outside? For example, this was, you did mention within the family and outside. What about did you have any issues outside? Just being a woman, did that?
When I was studying in my I went to an all-girls college, and then I went into the university, and I was the only girl in doing mechanical engineering undergrad, and we had 60 boys in our class. Even getting into that, I did it from EME College, NUST. So initially they said we don't want girls in mechanical. So just to get in, we had to deal with that. And then when I was there, obviously because a lot of boys came from the villages and stuff, they had their own kind of, it wasn't a very relaxed atmosphere as it is now. So that was.
But what about this this particular innovation, when you were sort of developing it or you were coming up with it, were there anything outside?
Yes, there are. Even to make a breakthrough in research, that in itself is a challenge. It's. I think it in science. I don't know about. I wouldn't know much about what is out of science, but in scientific research, just getting to that breakthrough is a challenge, and it's a very slow and painstaking process. You try different things, if they don't work out. That was one, and
that challenge anyone else would also face.
Yes, everybody would face that.
What about you as a female? Were there any issues that you thought were particular to be mentioned? That's okay.
No, I don't. I think I've said everything about.
One last question. Now, what advice would you give to someone else who wants to aspire just the same?
As in to women?
Come up with an idea, take it through, be an innovator.
Okay, I think the first thing is that you need self-recognition. Number one, you need to know who you are, what you want to do, and not by the way society would define you. That's one thing. And then whatever you decide to do, and there are times when you have to take things head on. I mean, you have to take very tough choices as well. Maybe I was in ways fortunate. There were times when, I had to say to my husband that if there's something I have to leave, it's not my PhD. So, there are these choices. I mean, these are realities. It's not that it's always, and then also that, I've seen this even in a personal life. I've seen this with in the society, sometimes, you've got old parents to look after, but girls are always under a pressure that, we have this, that it's the boy's responsibility, it's the son's responsibility, and if girls are married, they just feel helpless and there's not much they can do. So, and they have to come out of it. And sometimes, I've heard a lot of women saying that our, as siblings, our brothers have been prioritized by our parents. But I think it's both ways. When it comes to caring for your parents, it's the girls also think no, or I don't think they think it or whatever, but they are under pressure. They feel helpless, and they think that they would be, I don't know, they just can't deal with it. Whereas personally I would say, okay, my parents are my responsibility if they never differentiated between me and my brother. So there is no reason that I should assume that it's my parents' responsibility. Whereas my husband's parents are his responsibility and his siblings' responsibility. They're not my responsibility. So that's where this is a big societal problem, and I've seen a lot of people suffering. Because, they are, people who don't have sons, or sons and the daughters are just expected to, live with the in-laws or be with the husband or whatever. So, women need to think about this, or at least they should be given the confidence to think this through. This is very particular to where we live. In the West, things are very different.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I'm just trying to understand this point.
Do you have daughters or sons?
I've got a daughter and a son, but
okay. So
I'm just trying to understand how. So what would you like to know about how